Hello, and welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike, and with me today, as always, is your other co-host, John. John, how are you doing on this unseasonably warm Sunday?
Well, other than that, I'm doing pretty well, man. Yesterday was a lot of fun.
It was.
I know Gophers weren't playing, but we won the bye week, so
We definitely won the bye week.
I'm psyched about that,
There's no question about it.
Yeah, and then I'm just psyched about who lost. Frankly,
Yeah, dude.
It was great. It was a
It was
lot of
crazy.
wonderful. There was great hate watching going on for me. So I enjoyed it for the most part. Obviously, a couple things didn't go the way I wanted it to, but that's all right. It's okay. It happens.
Can't all go perfectly.
But some things went exactly the way I wanted it to. So
and some things shocked me, and things happened that I not only didn't anticipate, but couldn't have anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about them.
Yes, we will.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So other than that, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I have a mountain of work to do after this podcast, so I'm living in the moment. I'm going to really enjoy this experience on the pod with you.
Great.
And then I got a lot to do. So, but I'm feeling good. Yesterday was, Saturday is sort of my one day off right now. So I enjoyed watching ball. My only thing that's upset is I didn't make it through. I fell asleep. And I had to admit to myself that I couldn't stay up for USC Michigan State.
Yeah.
And I didn't even make it to kickoff. I went to sleep. Like they were lining up to kick off. And I was like, who am I kidding? At that point, I'd already been falling asleep for like off and on for the better, like half an hour.
Yeah.
When you're on the couch and you're keeping your eyes open. But then you suddenly look at the screen and you realize that plays have passed since the last play you saw.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I'm not totally awake.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's my own fault. I was up until like 2:30 on Friday and up at 6:45 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just didn't get that much sleep on Friday night, and I think that set me up to not be at my best as a football watcher. So sorry, USC and Sparty. I mean, I still went and saw the highlights and read about the game and whatever. Yeah. But no, I wanted to watch it live, and I just wasn't able to make it.
Same here, man. I know. I'm not surprised that I didn't make it. I don't even think I even intended to try. But I do think that like it's tough, man. It's tough not only as a player, but it's tough as a fan to watch these games so late at night on the West Coast. Like I love that there's like I like that it takes up all day, literally.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But it's so hard, man, to stay up for that, for me anyways, but it always has been. So that's not like me getting older. It's just a me being me thing too. So I'll fully admit to that. But yeah, man. But speaking of that game though, and I know we'll talk about the game, but for right now, I just want to address the fact that there was a player that went down and supposedly was very serious, had their jersey cut off from what I heard and everything like that. So I really hope whoever that is, I hope they're okay.
Did you get the name of the player?
And I was asking around on Twitter and I didn't hear, nobody, said anything, but Michigan State player, just to make sure. Injury. Yeah, here we go. Wayne Matthews.
Okay.
Yeah. Linebacker. Says motor skills are intact after the scary injury.
Oh, good.
Positive signs. So that's really good. But that stuff's so scary, man. And I did see some really classy Trojan fans on Twitter, putting the football thing aside and were very much like, I really hope he's okay. Even after the game, after they won, like there were people that were doing that. So I was really, proud of Trojan Nation for being that way. That's, I mean, not to say there aren't others and most of us would do that, I think, but like, it's
no, you got to be classy in moments like that. It's a scary time for everybody.
Yeah, well,
I'm glad to hear he has feeling and motion in all of his extremities. That usually means you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, but it's always so scary, man. When you see that stuff, you feel so bad for these players. But
yeah, they put so much into it and they work so hard. And football, it's safer than it's ever been to play football.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a violent game. You know. There are some sports, unless you want to get rid of them, football and hockey, and there are some others, and even basketball, that like you're just taking a little bit of a risk. Basketball, just because guys jump so high and then they get taken out, and you can hit your head on the hardwood.
Yeah,
it's not like football where it's grass.
Mm-hmm.
like, and grass is, and you have a helmet on. In basketball, you don't have a helmet on, and there's a hardwood court. So, like,
Things
all
happen.
sports are dangerous. I don't think football is too dangerous to play, but it is, there are risks involved in playing it, just like any, just like any contact sport.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's okay. He's going to be okay from what it sounds like. So that's good. And so anyway, but yeah, other than that, man, I mean, a lot of good games to talk about here, and I don't think there's any other major Big Ten news at this time. Obviously,
no Big Ten news, but should we talk about the SEC a little bit?
We can touch on that. Yeah.
So Florida got run off the field by Miami, 26-7. Absolutely embarrassing. An embarrassing performance. And Arkansas lost to Memphis. So could you lose me with the SEC is so much deeper than the Big Ten thing?
Yeah.
Could we lose that now?
Yep.
Because Florida is now, 1-3? 1-3.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking them up like they were a playoff contender.
Yeah.
And like they were one of the reasons why we had to give the SEC so much credit and why SEC needed 10 ranked teams. Because Florida was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they lost to South Florida.
Well, and you know what's going to happen.
Now they got crushed by Miami. So now they've lost 2 non-conference games.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's going to happen because Illinois got beat so bad by Indiana. Illinois will drop from the top 10 to not in the top 25, unranked.
Yep.
And then they will put in some undeserving SEC team who probably has at least one loss in the top 25 and isn't even that great. So
yeah,
that's what's going to happen. They're going to just replace one with another to make sure that there's a plethora of them still within the top 25 because that's the narrative they have to maintain.
They guaranteed that when they put them all in the preseason.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do every year. Exactly.
It was baked into the pudding.
Yeah,
and that's why the preseason AP poll needs to be abolished.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: if Illinois was an SEC team and they lost to a lower ranked, still top 25 team though, but lower ranked team, let's say that was also in the SEC, would they be knocked out of the top 25?
No, they'd be like 22.
Exactly.
Yeah. They would get crushed. They'd not drop from number 9 to unranked.
Yeah.
No chance at SEC does. Dude, I remember that when Alabama once lost a game and they would drop from 1 to 3 after a loss.
Yep, I remember that.
A loss.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are we even doing here anymore?
Well,
so
it's funny.
Yeah, it's a farce. And it's absolutely ridiculous that Illinois. I'm not saying Illinois doesn't deserve to drop out. I'm just saying that SEC teams deserve to drop out when they lose too.
Exactly. And that's the point. And again, I mean, it's only the SEC and Notre Dame as well that get that treatment because obviously Notre Dame, I'm sure, will skyrocket somehow into the top. They'll be like number 9 or number 10 after beating Purdue this last weekend. And Purdue did put up a good fight. We'll talk about that game, but just watch. A 0-2 Notre Dame still stayed in the top 25, and now that they'll have one win against Purdue, they will probably make a big jump. Yeah. So yeah. There we go. So yeah. Anyway, well, let's talk about these games.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
how about Clemson?
Oh yes.
Woo!
Yeah, that was.
They're bad. They're bad. That wasn't even a game. Syracuse ran them off the field.
So then,
dude, Dabo was asking to get fired. He might be getting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're gonna fire him because he's won the ACC 8 of the last 10 years and he's won 2 national titles in that time.
Yeah.
But it might be a warming seat for him going into next year, which I never thought it was possible for Dabo Swinney to end up on a hot seat. So that's wild to me.
I'm sure it could be warming, but I also again, not to actually bring this back to the SEC. How does that LSU ranking look now?
Oh my goodness, I know they remember Reese Davis ranked LSU number 1 because they beat Clemson.
Yep.
Yeah, how's that win aging? That's kind of like when Georgia Tech beat Florida State in Ireland, and then Florida State went 2-10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, man, it's wild. The rankings are all BS, and everybody knows it except for the people that are just trying to, gaslight themselves or everybody else around them into believing that this is the narrative that we should all just go along with and accept. But I'm glad to see more and more people are pushing back though these days. It's not that it's changing much or anything at all maybe, but at least I feel like you're putting some of these people on notice that we're not that stupid or as stupid as you like to think we are. So yeah.
Yeah, but they're laughing all the way to the bank because it puts them in the pole position for the playoffs because their teams are overrated and because they don't get punished in the polls when they lose the way every other conference gets punished in the polls when they lose.
Yeah. Fun
it
stuff.
Is what it is. Yeah. But that's okay. We had an awesome weekend of football.
Yep. Yes, we did. And before we get into these games, as always, if you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat. You can find Mike at Alibaba26. You can find me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. You can email us, We Live for Saturday, b1g@gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, follow, tweet, retweet, especially here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. Follow if you are listening or if you're watching this pod, just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't take any time. Mm-hmm. If you could subscribe and like the video on top of that, you're my best friend. I owe you a drink.
There you go.
All right. Like, just you come up to me at a Gopher game, and several of you have, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. That's super cool to me when people come up and are like, "Hey, I like the pod."
Yeah.
Even if you came up and said you hate the pod, I would think that was cool too.
It's great.
But it's even better when people say they like it. So yeah, keep coming up to me at Gopher games. I love it. And like other Minnesota events, it's always nice to hear from you and get your thoughts and suggestions and, whatever for the pod.
Yes.
But yeah, John, should we start with the Friday night game?
Let's do that. Yeah.
All right. So we had the Iowa Hawkeyes 38, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights 28. John, this was a tale of two halves, and the first half was bananas.
Yeah.
Caden Weichin,
I think.
Weichin. Yeah, I think it's Weichin.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's spelled that way, but sure, whatever you say, buddy. All right, Caden Weichin's touchdown return on the opening kickoff started off the game with a bang. And from there, it was nothing but pyrotechnics for the rest of the first half.
Yeah.
Ethan Kaliak-Manis was pretty good, but he was especially good in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up completing 24 of 40 for the game for 330 yards, 8.3 yards per attempt, no TDs, but one costly pick. That said, and Rutgers was all over Iowa early. I mean, it looked like Iowa could not do a thing to stop the Rutgers offense. The secondary was a mess. They were getting lost. They were having blown coverages. They looked like they couldn't match up one-on-one with Rutgers wide receivers frequently. And I mean, Rutgers, if it wouldn't have been for the Weichin kick return touchdown, Rutgers would have gone into half with the lead.
Yep.
It was 21-21 at half. And Rutgers was moving the ball up and down the field. They looked like they couldn't be stopped, despite the fact that they couldn't really, and they were even running the ball a little bit in the first half, although, for the game, and this is one of the big stories of the game, Rutgers only managed 70 yards rushing on just over 2 yards per carry.
Yeah.
And that was a big tale of how they ended up losing a game where they dominated. But it was 21-21 at half. And John, I think if you would have asked anybody watching that game, I think 90% of them would have told you that they thought that Rutgers was going to win the game.
Unless you are a Minnesota Golden Gopher fan and you understand what it's like to get Iowa'd all the freaking time.
Yeah.
Statistically beating them, looking like you're the better team on the field, yet somehow they find a way.
They won by 2 scores.
They did.
They won by 2 scores somehow.
But had it not been for that late interception by Ethan Kaliak-Manis, would they have? Because Ethan was moving it down the field, and it was a tip ball. It was wobbling in the air, and of course, Iowa capitalizes. And then, right after, scores a touchdown, and that was it. That was the end of the game. And we all need to, as a conference, learn you do not ever kick to Iowa's returners.
What did I say? What did I say in the preview pod?
Yep. Yep.
I said, you cannot kick to this man. He's going to hurt you.
And he first play of the game.
First play of the game. And he had a big punt. He almost returned a punt for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But right before halftime.
Like, why are you doing this to yourself?
I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You have a dedicated special teams coach. You got eyes, don't you? You watched the tape of Iowa, didn't you? Like, just don't kick to him. You kick it out of the end zone.
Yep.
Or you kick like it high, arcing to like the 20 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that your coverage time has time to get down there. And yeah, they're gonna have it at like the 20 or 25, but that's better than them housing it.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I understand it's a Rob Smith defense, so you can't really trust your defense, but opposed to, like, to me, man, I would still kick it away. I wouldn't let him touch it and try to at least give my defense a shot against an Iowa offense. So, which they seem to be doing, I mean, neither defense was good. Let's just put it that way. Overall, I don't think either defense looked good. They got better as the game went on, but I still don't think either Iowa or Rutgers looked fantastic.
No, the defenses weren't great. I mean, Iowa played well in the second half.
They did.
Rutgers only scored 7 points after halftime.
But to allow 330 yards through the air is really strange for Iowa's secondary, in my opinion. And I know most of that came in the first half, but like still, it's a little odd. But overall,
we're not used to Iowa having a leaky secondary.
No,
and this is the second year in a row they've been somewhat vulnerable. And I thought they looked better last year even than they have this year so far. Yeah, so that's something Kirk Ferentz needs to figure out.
Exactly. I think so too. And look, and I think Gronowski, I mean, he wasn't, lighting up the world, but he did what he needed to do. And I think 10.3 yard average with 12 out of 18 completions, 186 yards, 10.38 yard average, I think is pretty solid for him and where he's been.
No TDs, but no picks.
No TDs, but no picks. Exactly. And they ran the ball good enough. And they ran the ball better than Rutgers. And so that's where that comes in. And I think also it's just like you talked about Iowa's defensive line being able to stop them. But dude, if it wasn't for Ethan Kaliakmanis and those wide receivers on Rutgers offense, though, they couldn't do anything. So it was just Ian Strong is just insane.
He's a beast, man.
8 receptions for 151 yards. 8.
I mean, he's one of the top 5 wide receivers in the Big Ten. Okay, here's a game after Jeremiah Smith, and who are you taking next at wide receiver in the Big Ten? He's in the conversation.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Like, once Jeremiah Smith's off the board, if you're doing a draft of wide receivers just based on who you think is the best, Ian Strong is a very defensible pick at number 2 in the whole Big Ten.
He's top 5, man. Bare minimum, in my
Absolutely.
opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, he's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
He's big. He's coordinated. He makes catches in traffic. He's pretty fast.
Well, he can catch freaking bullets from Ethan because that's all Ethan throws, really. I mean, he's getting better at touch.
Okay, you know what, though? Ethan is putting touch on the ball like he's never has in his career.
Yeah.
Finally, as a fifth-year senior, he took him 5 years, but he finally realized, hey, maybe I don't have to throw it 100 miles an hour in a frozen rope every time. Maybe I can arc it and throw a little more catchable ball. And guess what? When you throw a more catchable ball, your receivers catch it more often.
Yep.
Ethan
looked great, man. I mean, I got to say, he really did.
He did.
So I think
but credit to Iowa and Phil Parker for making halftime adjustments, though, because there were a lot of pass breakups in the second half.
Yeah.
Ethan only ended up 24 for 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's over 50%, but it's not a lot over 50%.
Yeah.
So like 50. I mean, I'm gonna look it up right now, but it's not as good as you wanted it to be. It's not nearly as good as it was in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they were able to get some pressure on Ethan too. I mean, Iowa's defense came away with 3 sacks as well.
60%.
So, yeah. So.
But Ethan, he completed 54% of his classes last year. So that's like a huge improvement.
Yeah, it is.
Being in the 60s consistently for him.
Yeah. Well, I think it's either way, this For me, the story of the game, yes, you want to give credit to Ethan in this offense, and you want to give credit to Iowa not, screwing up offensively and just sticking to their game plan, and it worked for them. They had a few good run plays that I really liked, and their offensive line looked fantastic too. But
yeah,
yeah,
they
it wasn't
they
impressive.
only ran for 160 yards.
Yeah, but I think what they did happen was they were able to get enough explosive plays on the ground to where it needed and when it was needed, I should say. I guess it was the timing of it, so for them to stay in this game. But my takeaway from this, though, again, yes, the positive as far as Rutgers goes, anyways. Yes, Ethan looks like he's the truth. Ian Strong looks like he's the truth, but that defense it's
bad,
horrible.
It's a bad defense. Iowa doesn't this Iowa team has not, 38 points is a lot for them to put up.
Yeah. And this offense,
it's not like they were just short fields. Iowa was driving the ball.
Yeah, and that offense is not amazing. It's, maybe it's getting better now, but it's still not great. So for that,
when Iowa broke off like a 30-yard gain on a tight end middle screen, I was like, don't ever change, Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
Don't ever change.
Hey, I saw Gronowski throw. He threw a long ball at least once, and it got there. But
yeah, he threw a couple. He had completions of, I think, 42, 25, and 24 yards.
Yeah.
So those are explosive plays.
Yeah.
That's like you need to have some of those, and he had a few.
Yep.
So good for him for playing a little better.
There you go.
Iowa, man, here's the thing. It never matters how bad they look in that Cyhawk game.
Yeah.
Because and we were talking about this, and this is something you should pay attention to as listeners too. Some coaches, the best coaches, their teams get better as the year goes on. They don't stay the same.
Yeah.
What you are in week 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 is not necessarily what you're going to be in week 6 through 12 through 14. It's not necessarily what it is. So if your team is down, a couple of your teams are pretty screwed. But mostly, even if your team is down, your team has a chance to get better. And Iowa teams consistently get better.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I know everyone's and their mother's going to pick Indiana to beat Iowa this week, and I probably will too. But I won't be surprised if Iowa rides into town and wins somehow, some way.
Yeah, man.
I won't be shocked.
No, I'm definitely going to pick Indiana, but yes.
I'm definitely picking Indiana.
But
definitely am.
Yeah.
But I don't have I don't think it's like, mortgage the house and bet that in Vegas. No, yeah. I don't feel that. I don't feel safe. You're never safe against Iowa. You're never safe until it's over.
And Indiana could very well blow their freaking doors off.
They could blow their doors off. They totally could. But I'm not
you and I aren't
going to
sit. No, and you and I aren't going to sit here if somehow they figure it out and they Iowa, Indiana. Then we're going to be like, well, yeah. I mean, go figure.
Well, yeah, that's an Iowa thing.
What they do. So, yeah, man. As long as Kirk Ferentz is there, it's always a possibility. So, yep.
Yeah. Good for Iowa, though. It's a good win.
Yep. Yes, it is.
It's a good win. And Rutgers, man, that Rob Smith defense, it's bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's bad. Iowa only had 336 yards, but again, Iowa's never going to have the most yards. It's about how many points they put on the board, and you gave up near 40 points to Iowa.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how that Rob Smith defense goes as the year goes on, and if Rob Smith keeps his job all year or if he secretly gets demoted at some point so somebody else can call the plays and teach the defense.
I love how one of our Rutgers fans called him a domestic terrorist.
Yes. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I agree. We felt the same way, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Should we move along?
Yep.
Next up, we had number 6, Oregon, 41. The Oregon Ducks, 41. The Oregon State Beavers, 7. This was pretty lopsided as we anticipated. Oregon State is a bad group of 5 team. They haven't won a game all year. I mean, Oregon had 29 first downs to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon had 585 total yards to 147. Oregon State did not break 100 yards passing or running. Whereas Oregon, threw for 300 yards and ran for nearly 300 yards. It was as balanced as it could be. It was clinical. They dominated time of possession.
Yep.
They made some big plays down the field. Dante Moore, 21 to 31. You'll take it. You'll take that. 305 yards, almost 10 yards an attempt, 4 TDs, 0 picks, QBR of 81.4. You will take that. And dude, who is Jaden Lamar? Because
I don't know.
That's the thing. Me either. And that shows you how deep they got into their bench.
Wild.
Because he led them in rushing.
Yeah.
And they cleared the bench so early that none of their normal guys just, had 6 carries and were out. Like they spread the carries around. A lot of guys got to play.
Yep.
A lot of guys caught balls. Man, DeCorian Moore and Kenyon Sadiq.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are weapons, man.
Yeah, they are.
Oregon's great.
They are.
They're great. I don't know what to say. Oregon State's bad. Oregon's great. I think Oregon's a top 5 team. I think they should probably be ranked in the top 5 at this point.
I agree with that.
4 games. I think they're playing well enough to justify that.
I mean, I have one glaring issue, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this, but I think it's a really, really big thing when it comes to Oregon is they didn't wear their school colors.
Oh, no, that's just a really strong point.
It's
you're letting us down as a conference, Oregon.
Gold, white, and anthracite. I mean, Oregon, I get it. You're really good. You're really talented.
Wear green.
Wear green and yellow, bro. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, wear green.
In one way, shape, or form. Doesn't have to be all. Could be a little bit of combination of things. But if you don't see both those colors,
but
I don't know, man.
You get to start the anthracite and yellow, black and pink. Like, what are we doing, Oregon?
Exactly. So
it's not aesthetically pleasing.
I want to give you your flowers for this win, Oregon, but it's really, you're making it hard. You're making it hard.
You really are.
So had to make that point. It's very valid, and I hope everyone understands. So thank you.
Are the Beavers going to win a game this year?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if they are.
I really just don't, man.
I feel for them, man, in Corvallis. I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good football town. It's a good football town. They had, when I saw the Gophers play in Corvallis, they had a dog. They had a pool set up. And the dog this guy was throwing a Frisbee.
Yeah.
And the dog would jump out and clear. And, dude, it was I swear to God, it was 20, 25 feet. And the dog would jump, clear, turn, catch it in the air, and jump over the water and hit the ground running. And I was just like, super dog, and he was just at the game, just entertaining people for no reason. It was awesome. So Oregon State has a cool culture.
Yeah.
They do. And I hope they can make, that when they are in a conference next year, things start to get a little better.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I've always wanted good things for Washington State and Oregon State. They've just always been kind of fun teams that I've enjoyed when they get plucky, when they were good. I guess under Jonathan Smith, Oregon State, and then when Mike Leach was at Washington State, that was a fun team to watch. So I hope so too, man. I hope that they can get some things figured out and become competitive again. Yeah.
Do you remember the Mike Riley Oregon State teams? They were fun.
Yeah, they were.
They were fun. They were good. They beat Oregon a decent amount of the time, despite not having a fraction, of the resources.
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, should we move along?
Yes.
John, I think we have to eat some crow. Since January, we have been talking about how excited we were for what ended up being number 19 Indiana versus number 9 Illinois. Yeah. We said this was a game that would define the Big Ten. It would define who was in the college football playoff race. And maybe it did that. But, dude, it wasn't fun to watch. I had fun. My significant other comes from a big Indiana family. Their parents were at the game.
Okay.
So I was getting updates and text messages with pictures from the game.
Yeah.
But so I wanted the Hoosiers to win because I have a soft spot for the Hoosiers now because of them.
Sure.
But I wanted it to be a game. This wasn't a game.
No.
And here's what I thought, John. I thought that Indiana was going to be better at the skill positions, but that Illinois would have the better quarterback and the better line of scrimmage play. Well, Indiana had the better everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, this was like when they played Nebraska last year.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. This was so bad.
I
And
mean, dude,
honestly,
did you see the look on Bielema's face?
oh yeah,
Bielema looked like like imagine if you drugged Brett Bielema and then set him outside in the street naked and then woke him up in traffic during rush hour. That's what he looked like.
Yeah.
He was like, how did I get here? What's going on? What do I do?
Uh-huh.
Like, that's how he looked the entire game. I've never seen Bielema look. And you know what? I think wearing blue just doesn't inspire the team. Wear orange, Brett.
Be the pumpkin you're meant to be.
Be the pumpkin. You're so much more impressive looking when you're in orange. Is he not?
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
Instead of kind of that dull blue that Illinois uses, that they favor.
I'm
really disappointed in Bielema. He didn't have his team ready to play. Like, look, all credit to Indiana. Indiana's amazing. Indiana's really good. This guy right here, and I'm pointing at myself, picked Kirk Cignetti as the best coach in the Big Ten. What did I say? I said Kirk Cignetti was the best coach in the Big Ten. I said Brett Bielema was number 2, though.
Yeah.
Brett Bielema didn't look like the second best coach in the Big Ten last night, but Kirk Cignetti looked every part of the best coach in the Big Ten.
I mean, and he didn't look happy, like, which I love about Kirk Cignetti. He's like, and because he just wants to he wants to take your soul from your body.
When they asked him at halftime, what does your offense need to do better? And folks, if you pay attention to past halftime interviews, usually the coach is like, well, we got to play a little harder. We got to tighten up our execution. We got to take advantage of this or that. We got to control the clock. And Cignetti just looked at her and he smirked and he said, more points.
Yeah.
More points. More points. He's like a
12-year-old.
He's like a 12-year-old on a mission.
Yeah.
He's the world's oldest 12-year-old. And he's building like a fortress in his room. And you have no idea where he got this. And there's like steel piping in there and you don't know where he got it and you don't want to ask.
Yeah.
Because he probably wasn't his. But he got it and he's building the best fort in the neighborhood because some kid told him he couldn't.
Yep. He's terrifying.
Yeah. Kurt Cignetti, man. I do. I think he's the best coach in the Big Ten. I think he's the best coach in college football. I truly believe that. I believe it. And I said it last summer. I'm saying it right now. I don't think there's another coach in this sport who could have done in the last 2 years, year and a half, what he's done at Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single other coach in the sport. I think you could take Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Kirby Smart, put them all together in a blender, and Dan Lanning, put them all together. And I think Cignetti would still, and then make one coach. I think Cignetti would still be a better coach.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. I mean, dude, like, let's talk about what kind of a bludgeoning this was. Indiana had 31 first downs. Illinois had 9. Illinois was 1 for 10 on third down. Indiana was 8 for 11 and 1 for 1 on fourth down. Because of course they went for it on fourth down early in the game. Because of course they did. 579 total yards for Indiana to 161. And I had someone in the comments tell me that it's not the Illinois Illini, it's the Illinois Fighting Illini. Well, there was no fight last night.
Yeah. There
was no fight. No fight all game. So I'm not calling them the Fighting Illini until they show me some fight on the field. You're just the Illini. You're just the Illini until you come out and play better than that. What was that? How are you that unprepared for a big game? And do they ask Cignetti after the game? They were like, oh, are you surprised? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, turn on the tape. They couldn't block Duke either. They just threw a bunch of picks. They couldn't block Duke either. They just threw a bunch of picks. He is such a jerk, and I love it. I love every minute of it. They couldn't block Duke either. No one ever. Can you imagine if PJ came into a press conference after a big win and insulted the other team? He'd never do it.
No.
He'd never do it, ever. But Cignetti does it, and somehow it works. I don't know, man. He is the most he's the most interesting coach in college football to me. And Fernando Mendoza is great. And Elijah Surratt is great. And dude, Omar Cooper, Hey, we screwed up last week. Omar Cooper had 4 touchdowns last week, and we didn't even mention it.
Yeah, you're right.
And we should have. Omar
Yes.
Cooper needs his flowers, because one of the reasons why Elijah Surratt is so effective is because it's hard to double team him because Omar Cooper is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have 2, we knew what it was like when we had Johnson and Bateman. When you have 2 elite wide receivers, you can do a lot of stuff on offense.
Yep.
And dude, I thought Cignetti was going to have to do less RPO. I thought he was going to have to get more complex on offense. He's running the same stuff he ran last year, man.
Yep.
Running the same stuff. There aren't a bunch of new wrinkles. This isn't a whole different look offense. He's not evolving it that much. He's like, it works. I'm going to keep doing it until somebody figures out how to stop me.
Mm-hmm. It's not fair. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. It's not fair.
Excuse me. I still have a big cold. My cold is worse today than it's been, so I apologize for all my coughing. But go on.
No, I don't. It's just not. That's all. Honestly, all I feel when I think about what's going on with Indiana, and being statistically, like, this is a real thing. By the way, we're not just saying it. Being the worst program in the Big Ten historically, like, and by far
the worst program in the Big Ten,
to overnight with one single hire, one like evil magician,
and some athletic department buy-in.
Yes.
And some buy-in.
But dude, this is like I mean, it's freaking like, it's like they put freaking Sauron in charge, and he's creating the Uruks and putting the white hand of Sauron on each player. Yes. That's what's going on. And
yes.
Yes.
Good
nerding
pull.
out here, but it's crazy, Yeah. He's amazing, and he's terrifying. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, dude. And the fact that he just is so honest, I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe he came into that press conference and insulted Illinois. I couldn't believe it. It was hilarious.
Bielema has done the same thing. So I wonder if
because Bielema's a troll too.
Yeah. Bielema may have done the same thing in one way, shape, or form. But but I respect it though, man. I honestly, and that's what I think.
Oh, I do too.
That's what's been missing from the Big Ten, because the SEC is always
since Urban Meyer retired.
Yes.
Since Urban Meyer retired, we haven't had a big enough jerk in the conference to stand up for the conference.
And we have
Cignetti and Bielema.
And Bielema. Oh yeah, Bielema.
But we have those two guys, because PJ's whole shtick is I love everybody and everything's positive, and that's his thing, and he's gonna go with it. But you need some coach, and I respect that too. Yeah. I think that's great too. But you need some coaches who are willing to to push the envelope a little bit and advocate both for their teams and their conferences.
Yeah.
And it's good to have Cignetti and Bielema in the Big Ten. But Bielema really let me down. I'm honestly, man, I don't think I've ever seen a Brett Bielema team that unprepared in a big game before.
No.
I mean, it was truly brutal.
It looked like it was going to be close in that first quarter, defensive. Yeah. It was like it was going to be a defensive battle, and I was like, okay, both defenses look pretty solid. This could be a tight game, and then all of a sudden, Indiana just took off and never looked back. That was it.
I know Xavier Scott was out, but that's not a good enough excuse to get run like that.
So yeah, man.
I mean, 63-10. Did I write that down wrong? I'm double checking. No, that's correct. 63-10.
Yeah.
If you don't have Indiana ranked in the top 10 at this point, I don't know how to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They earned it. Put them in the top 10.
I agree.
Nobody else has a win this good over a ranked team that looked this impressive at this point.
Watch, they'll be 11.
You know it.
Oh yeah.
You know they won't put them in the top 10, but they should.
They might, but I won't be surprised if they're we put them from 19 to 11. That's a big jump. It's
hold on. I know we've talked about this game a long time, but Fernando Mendoza, 21 for 23, 267 yards, 11.6 yards per attempt, 5 TDs, no picks, QBR of 93.6. Is he going to be a first round draft pick this year?
Did you see some of the throws he was making, dude?
Yes. I watched every snap of that game.
Superhuman, bro.
Yeah.
It's
unreal.
It's some video game stats. Someone bumped his stats up to 99, And like every stat too, not just like throw power and throw accuracy, like everything.
He's better than Curtis Rourke.
Yes.
How is that even possible that Indiana has a quarterback, again, who's better than Curtis Rourke after Curtis Rourke like rewrote the record books last year?
Well, and all the consternation about Mendoza after a couple of weeks ago when he didn't look like superhuman. He just didn't look superhuman, and people, Indiana fans were like, "Oh, I don't know." You know, it's like, well, he just shut you up.
Yeah, dude. There's no denying. Indiana is not just a college football playoff contender. They're a Big Ten title contender.
Yep.
They absolutely are.
Yes, they are.
There's no question about it. And that Iowa game this week, that's gonna be an interesting game. But you know what? It might not be, because Indiana might just do to Iowa what they did to Illinois. I mean, I'm not predicting that because I think Kirk Ferentz is Faustian packed, so that just doesn't happen to him very often.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. If you look at Indiana's schedule, they have a really favorable schedule. You know, they do have to play at Oregon. But I'm not calling that a loss right now. That could be a game. That's going to be a great game at Oregon.
Yeah. With the way things look now,
Iowa, they win. And then they got Sparty, UCLA, and Maryland. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not going to lose any of those games. And they're not going to lose to Wisconsin. They're not going to lose to Purdue. So really, like, I think we're talking about 10-2 Indiana, because they have to go to Autzen and to Happy Valley.
Possibly.
But they could win those games too.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I am. Like, I'm happy for them because I know these Indiana people pretty well and their fan base pretty well now.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them. I'm also jealous.
Yep.
Because, like, to do this, I didn't think for a minute Cignetti was going to be able to pull this off 2 years in a row.
No.
I didn't think they were good enough on the line of scrimmage, but they are.
I mean, I didn't expect it either. I expected a good season, and you and I said that too. We didn't.
Yeah, I had them winning 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, but I didn't.
I didn't have them going back to the playoff.
Yeah.
And now, unless they trip over their dicks against Iowa, they're going back to the playoff.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
Because they get to play, once again, they get most of the bottom teams in the Big Ten this year.
Yep.
It's not going to be like that forever. Indiana will eventually have a schedule as hard as the other Big Ten, you know, like, that is as tough as everybody else's. But
as
man,
long as Cignetti is there, though.
Cignetti's there, they're going to be competitive.
Exactly.
And they're going to be really good. And I mean, he said they were an emerging college football power. It's Superfan Sherry texted me after the game and said, maybe we are a football school. Maybe.
And this is what's this
maybe
is what
they
I'm
are
saying.
now.
Like, are they taking a jump to like overnight within like 2 years to like Penn State level Big Ten like team? Like, because that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying because they're not Ohio State yet. Nobody else is Ohio State. But are they?
I don't know about Penn State, but they're like, you know what they are now? They're like 2010 era Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Where, you know, every year they're going to win 10 games and have a chance to win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And go to a big bowl game and make somebody look stupid. I feel like they're right there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like when Wisconsin had Russell Wilson and looked like they should have, and honestly, they probably should have won a national title. They screwed up. They lost on, I think, 2 Hail Marys that season.
Something like that. Yeah.
3. No, I think 3. They lost on 3 Hail Marys, I want to say, or like 2 Hail Marys and 1 other Hail Mary adjacent play.
Sure.
Yeah. So Indiana's terrifying, man. I honestly, I wanted them on the schedule this year, but now I'm like, maybe it's good they're not on the schedule this year.
I just hope for well, you know what? I hope Fernando Mendoza is gone next year, but at the same time, like they're just going to find somebody else who's just as much of a magician as he is. So
maybe. I mean, I'm not betting against it.
Yeah.
I think Kurt Cignetti could go to a JUCO game and find somebody no one's ever heard of, and we'd all be like, well, he's going to be first or second team all Big Ten.
Yeah.
You know, just because that's what Kurt Cignetti does.
Yep.
Yeah, man. All right. We talked a lot about Indiana, Illinois. Should we move on?
Yes.
Next up, we had number 21, the Michigan Wolverines, 30. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, 27.
Ooh, another 1-score loss.
Another 1-score loss for Nebraska. I watched every snap of this game, John. It was Nebraska. Dylan Raiola is good, man. He's a good player. I am favorably impressed by them. I think he has taken steps from last year. 30 of 41, 308 yards, 7.5 yards per attempt, 3 TDs, 1 pick. You take away just that 1 pick, obviously not a great decision, but like 1 pick it was still only.
Yeah.
He completed a Hail Mary for a touchdown, put it in the exact right spot. You want that Hail Mary at the front of the end zone, but far enough into the end zone that when the receiver catches it, he doesn't have to like turn around and run it into score. You want him to catch it and score as he catches it.
Yep.
I mean, John, if you had a machine, you couldn't have put the ball in a better place than he put it.
Yeah, that was
Dylan Raiola is legit. You know who's not, though? Emmett Johnson. I'm saying it.
Yep.
19 rushes, 65 yards, 3.4 yards per attempt. Nebraska, once again, yes, they were in this game. Yes, Dylan Raiola is good. Ja'Cory Barney, some of their receivers are very good. But once again, Nebraska could not run the ball, could not stop the run.
Yep.
Michigan ran for about 300 yards on John. Get this, 9.4 yards a carry. 9.4 yards a carry for the game.
That's rough.
I mean, Michigan only had 4.6 yards per pass. They only went 12 for 25 passing. They couldn't throw the ball, really. Michigan.
They didn't need to.
They
couldn't, but they didn't throw very well. Yes, but they didn't need to.
They didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because they just lined up and they were like, you're not going to be able to on defense. They said, hey, we're going to be able to block you. And on offense, they said, we're going to be able to block you. And on defense, they said, you're not going to be able to block us.
Yep.
And they couldn't. I mean, dude, those Michigan edge rushers.
Yeah.
They're fast.
Yep.
They are fast. They were going by the Nebraska tackles like they were standing still, like they were turnstiles, man. And once again, that's been an Achilles heel for Matt Rule teams.
Yeah.
His offensive lines have not been that good yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's year 3 now, and they're still subpar up front. And that's a problem in the Big Ten, man. That's a big problem because with Bryce, it's not like Bryce Underwood really played well enough to win this game. And dude, you know what? When they went 5 wides on 1st and 10 in Nebraska territory, how didn't you know that was going to be a quarterback draw?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. What else were they going to do then? What do you think? What do you think they want? Let's clear everybody out. So there's one linebacker for our quarterback to beat.
Yeah.
What? Come on, man. He hadn't been chucking it all over the yard. He wasn't throwing it deep on you.
No.
He broke into the secondary. There was nobody waiting for him. I was like, you really didn't think that was coming?
Yeah.
That was bad coaching, dude, in my opinion.
Yeah, when it comes to Nebraska, I do think they're definitely, like we've been saying, they are taking steps forward, but there are some glaring issues that continue to crop up. And I'm surprised, to be honest, I'm actually surprised that they haven't found at least one running back who looks like above average, like an above average Big Ten running back. And they haven't. Not since
Nebraska's starting running back is literally a Minnesota kid who didn't get a Minnesota offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because PJ didn't think he was good enough to play in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And that's Nebraska's starting running back.
So it's bizarre to me that they can't get good enough running backs at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Full credit to Raiola, full credit to their wide receiving core being better. Their pass blocking is better, but the fact that they still can't run the ball consistently is bizarre to me. And I don't know. I think
Holgorsen and Rule should have known.
Yeah.
That they needed a running back in the portal.
Yeah.
They should have known that. They saw Emmett Johnson. They had Emmett Johnson last year.
Yep.
They knew what he was.
Yep.
And they didn't even find depth. And dude, God forbid Emmett Johnson gets hurt. His backups are worse than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Significantly.
Yep.
So yeah, Emmett Johnson is not it. He's not it.
Mm-hmm.
And that offensive line is not great either.
Yeah.
So once again, Nebraska has a really good passing attack, and their secondary, I think, is decently good.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't run the ball. They can't stop the run, and that's a problem in the Big Ten.
Yep. Yeah, it's I mean, look, Matt Rule, I still think is a good coach, but
Yeah, he's a great coach.
he's got to change up some of his priorities here
Yeah.
and do a little bit better. So, yeah.
And it was, it didn't in the second half, it didn't feel like a close game.
Mm-mm.
Michigan outscored, they were tied at half, and then Michigan outscored them 10-0 in the third quarter. And then Nebraska put up, 10 points in the fourth quarter late, and they scored a touchdown late to make it a one-score game. So it didn't. I think the score is not really indicative. I think Michigan was more dominant in this game than the score indicates.
Well, I just don't know what to read into. Like, I know the narrative for years now has been like Nebraska's the best blah 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 team, because of all these one score games. I'm like, how relevant is that question anymore? Or like talking about all of these one score games that they've lost when they can't win these games, like
Yeah.
that to me, I'm like, I don't know if that's an argument anymore that you can put up there. Yeah, sure, they played tough. They played tough against a Michigan squad that was better than them.
Yeah.
But is Michigan world beaters? No, but still they were better than them, and they hung in there for a good amount of time, and props to Nebraska for that. But are we still going to keep with this whole narrative that oh, but it was a one score game. It was a one score game lost here. It was a one score game lost there. What if it had gone the other way? But it hasn't, and it still doesn't. So what are we really even talking about anymore? And I do think they're getting better. I'm not. This is not me trying to shit on Nebraska either. I think they are getting better, and I do think Matt Rule can maybe take that next step. But I just don't think that's an argument that can be made anymore. Like it's just
it's a loser storyline.
Yeah, like let's just change it up, let's, and that's not even on, I'm not even blaming Nebraska fans. Like that's a lot on the national media that keeps propping that up, and it's like, all right, let it go. Like let's all move on. In fact, that's probably would be best for the Nebraska fan base if everybody.
There are no moral victories in year 3.
Yeah.
Moral victories are for year 1 and maybe year 2. You're in year 3. You're a mature program.
Yeah.
All those guys in there are Matt Rule's guys, pretty much. Like he's had 3 years to get them ready in his system. Like he owns that room.
Yeah,
he owns it, and the coaching and both the good coaching decisions and the coaching mistakes.
Yeah,
I honestly, man, I would have attacked more, blitzed more. I would have dared Bryce Underwood to throw the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
And said if Bryce beats us throwing, he beats us throwing.
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't. Yeah, I just don't think that Nebraska really misses Tony White. I think.
Yeah. Who could be? Maybe he's going to be the next UCLA head coach.
Could be.
Yeah, I've heard his name thrown out there. So
yeah, absolutely. I was really impressed with Michigan in this game. Just being that dominant up front, which we saw they could after they kind of got pushed around by Oklahoma a little bit.
Yeah,
seeing them come back and dominate, a tough Big Ten opponent. I felt good about that for Michigan. I think that's something they can build on going forward.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Michigan, good for you. Good win. All right. Next up, we had the Notre Dame Fighting Irish 56, the Purdue Boilermakers 30. Look, this game was competitive-ish in the first half.
Yeah.
And there was a big delay. And after the delay, Notre Dame pretty much just pounded Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
But they were competitive for a while. They scored some points. They had some stops at times, before things got out of hand. Purdue is not a good team, but they play hard. And they're much improved over what they were last year. Like strictly because at least they play hard and at least they have a coach now who has a coherent vision of what a football team should be doing.
Here's my thing, though. I'm not saying Purdue is amazing, but like this passing game and Ryan Brown particularly is far more dangerous than what he's getting credit for. Because like he did well against this Notre Dame secondary, dude.
Yes.
Like it's so I'm just again, do I think Purdue's going to rattle off 7, 8, 9, 10 wins? No, but I'm looking them. They're convincing me a little bit more and more that they have more potential to reach 6 wins in a way, because I do think that the possibility is there.
Don't look now, but Purdue's next game is against Illinois on October 4th after the bye week.
I mean, if Illinois doesn't figure their stuff out, man, I
And
mean, I don't
Illinois has
know.
had issues with Purdue historically.
Yeah.
Remember, Illinois almost lost to Purdue last year.
Yeah.
That Purdue team.
Yeah.
So psychologically, that program is in their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
And like that's Brett Bielema is going to have to really rally the troops and be ready for that game.
Yeah.
You know, because Purdue could get a couple people this year, and Illinois looks really vulnerable right now. And Luke Altmaier did not play the way I thought he was going to last night, and it was mostly the line's fault.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't protecting him long enough for him to throw the ball.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting. Big Kurt talked about how much the offensive line improved as the year went on last year. I thought they would pick up where they left off. They haven't.
Yeah.
They have not. That doesn't mean they can't get better.
Yeah.
But they definitely regressed from what they were at the end of last year. And with 5 starters back, that's really disappointing.
Yeah, it's weird when that happens. I mean, we've experienced that as well. But like you'd think under Bielema that wouldn't be an issue ever.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I know. But he has had some troubles recruiting there, actually, surprisingly, for whatever reason. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to keep note of. Yeah, I'm not down on Purdue, man. I actually think that they're not. I think they're going to be a tough out. You know, they're a team you should beat, but like they're going to be a team that they're going to get somebody and they're going to play some competitive games, even when they do lose. I don't think they're not a speed bump anymore.
No, I agree. Yeah, but and I know as far as like Notre Dame goes, like they were able to run the ball a lot. Yeah. I know Jeremiah Love had 157 yards, but I still think Jadarian Price is actually the better running back right now on that team. I mean, they're both really good.
He's playing better. Jeremiah Love has more physical gifts.
I just like the way Jadarian Price, I feel like it's easier for him.
It seems like he sees the holes better.
He doesn't. He moves easier. He just floats. Where like Love, it's like it's a freaking Mack truck coming through, which is amazing. You know, and that's tough.
When he gets to full speed, Love is terrified.
Yeah.
But how often does he get to full speed?
Not often. It's true. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think that for that, and Carr didn't have to do much. I mean, he did okay. Obviously, he threw for 223 yards, but
yeah.
But I don't know, man. This Purdue team, they fought good. So I'm still. You should be proud, Boilermaker fans.
Yeah, and you know, keep coming to games and whatever, because like we said, you're gonna get somebody. Yep. You're gonna get somebody this year. I don't know who, I don't know when, but you're gonna win a game or two. You're not supposed to.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Next up is a game that was a good game that I'm sad I only watched the highlights of. I was so excited to watch this last night, but I forgot to take my Adderall yesterday, and it just like, I did not have the juice to stay up and watch it. This was, you know, credit to Sparty. They were down 24-10 at half. Then they had a big third quarter and got it within a touchdown before USC kind of took over again then, you know, in the fourth quarter. It was, you know, it's time to start talking about Jaden Mayava, man. Speaking of eating crow, I think we can officially say we were wrong. So USC fans, we were wrong about Jaden Mayava. Just so you know, he looks like a Heisman contender right now. 20 of 26, 234 yards, 9 yards per attempt, 3 TDs, 0 picks. I mean, and dude, USC ran the ball for almost 300 yards.
Yeah. Well,
Wayman Jordan is amazing.
Look what happens when you actually run the ball. You try to have a balanced offense, Lincoln Riley. Maybe Miller Moss would have looked better had you done that before.
Had you run the ball more than you passed it instead of the other way around?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, maybe Lincoln Riley learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
That like you're better off being able to run the ball and not putting all of the pressure on your quarterback, especially when your quarterback is not the most experienced. Like Jaden Mayava's experienced now. Yeah. But like last year, they were putting so much on Miller Moss and Mayava. Yeah. And it just didn't seem like he was up for it. Makai Lemon, man.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
8 for 127 for 127, a TD and a long of 40. He's real. Yep. He's real. He's real scary. And, you know, as for Sparty, Aiden Childs was okay. Like, he had a lot of big completions, which was good, like length. But he was only 12 for 21, so the percentage wasn't great. 212 yards, 10.1 per attempt, 3 TDs, no picks. But once again, man, Sparty couldn't run the ball.
No.
They can't block. I don't think it's the back's fault. I don't think it's Mekhi Frazier's fault.
No.
They can't block for him.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, you can see them. They're able to get what they need through the air. I mean, Omari Kelly had 6 receptions for 133 yards. I mean, and a TD. So like Krishan McCray as well. Nick Marsh looks good. Like they just don't have a balanced offense, and it's really I wholeheartedly believe that it is the offensive line not being able to run block. I think Mekhi Frazier is a good back. He just can't. He can't get enough time to make anything happen.
You got to give the guy a hole once in a while.
Yeah. So I feel for him, man. And it makes you wonder too if Aiden Childs wasn't as mobile as he is and slippery as he is. Like if that might be more of an issue too, like for taking sacks and whatnot. So
if Aiden Childs like gimps an ankle and suddenly has to be in the pocket, he's gonna get killed back there.
Yeah.
Like it's good that he's as mobile as he is because. They can't do it. And they couldn't, I mean, USC, they couldn't fight up to USC's blocks.
No.
It was just, and Lincoln Riley realized that, and he actually ran the ball 40 times.
Well, here's the other thing, and I think this should be the main, focus. So, other than the faults with Michigan State's offense, is Michigan State's defense had 1 tackle for loss.
Just one tackle for loss. A Joe Rossi defense. 1 tackle for loss. Are you sure it was 1 or was it 0?
I see 1 by Cam Williams, number 44.
Okay, then in the ESPN has it wrong. Then ESPN has them with 0.
I'm on ESPN right now, so that's odd.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Either way,
it's not
0
good enough.
or 1, which still isn't good.
Either way, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
They don't get pressure on the run game or the throw game.
Yeah.
They aren't. They are not. They are not good enough on the defensive line. And, Joe Rossi, he doesn't want to do it, man, but he might have to start blitzing.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to. That's not his style to blitz very much. But if you can't get there with 4, the quarterbacks in the Big Ten, and actually Bud Elliott, noted Southern Helmet School shill, Bud Elliott, came out and said that the Big Ten has better QB play by the SEC and it isn't close.
I need that.
He didn't want to say that.
I need that clip somewhere. I need to.
Yeah, he said the top half of the Big Ten, the quarterback play is significantly better than the top half of the SEC.
Wow.
And that's my point, John, is that the quarterback play in the Big Ten is too good now.
Yeah.
It's too good right now to sit back and just let guys make mistakes.
Well, that's what you said. You said this about Joe Rossi, and I agree. And this is what's happened, and I think it's going to keep happening, unfortunately.
And dude, you know what? It's not. I think Danny Collins made that mistake against Cal last week.
Yeah, he did.
I think he should have blitzed more and forced the issue and whatever.
Well, so that's why we loved Corey Heatherman, man.
That's why we loved Heatherman, man, because Heatherman never saw a blitz he didn't like.
Yep.
But yeah, it's surprising it's going as poorly as it is for. I mean, dude, it wouldn't shock me if after year 2, if a coach hasn't gotten to where he wants to go yet, he will often blame somebody and fire them and go a different direction to get the energy going again and get people excited again. It wouldn't shock me if Joe Rossi gets fired after this year if this doesn't improve, if these situations don't improve. If they don't start getting some pressure on a consistent basis, one way or another, it won't shock me if Joe Rossi goes from one of the best coordinators in the Big Ten at Minnesota to fired at Michigan State.
Yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't either. I mean, at least the offense is taking some steps forward. So it's harder to fire that OC, but dude, I'm not seeing.
No, the offense hasn't been the problem.
But there's no growth on the defense at all.
No,
seemingly.
No, it's not. You think of Joe Rossi defense as being disciplined and playing fast and loose and aggressively and not aggressively, but in tackling aggressively.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't see that from Michigan State.
Yeah, I don't either.
I feel like whenever Michigan State makes a tackle, the guy is going they're not stopping him cold and driving them back. It's like they're getting taken for more yards.
Yep. Yeah.
It's they got to figure that out. I don't know what Joe Rossi has to do, but he's got to light a fire into those guys because right now they're not getting it done, and he's got to be willing to blitz if they can't. If his defensive linemen just aren't good enough, and some years, unless you're Ohio State or Alabama or whatever, there are going to be years when your defensive linemen aren't quite good enough at the pass rush.
Yep.
Everyone's going to have years like that. We might be having a year like that right now, John. I'm not sure, but we might be. We might be. You just got to blitz. You got to blitz a lot. And you have to make sure that your DBs are playing well and blitz a lot and, force some turnovers.
Well, and like you said, especially I think this year with all the quarterback play in this league, like you have to keep them under pressure and on their toes. Otherwise, they'll pick you apart all day. So, yeah, man. I'm with you. Cool.
Well, I would say that next up, we have the biggest surprise of the day. Hands down, the Maryland Terrapins 27, the Wisconsin Badgers 10. John, I watched every snap of this game. It was like a train wreck that I couldn't look away from.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was watching it in the second half the way people watch NASCAR. Like, oh my God, what could happen next? There's already been that car's on fire, and that other car just lost a tire and skidded out. And this other guy, this car's engine is smoking. And like, what's going to happen? Is there going to be a big crash? Somebody going to die? That's what I was like watching Wisconsin in the second half of that Maryland game. I mean, it was a beating. It was a beating. And honestly, I know Wisconsin ended up with 10 points, but it felt like they were going to end up with 0.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
They didn't score the whole first half.
No.
It was 20-0 at halftime.
Well, they didn't get their first touchdown until the fourth quarter.
Maryland blocked 2 kicks in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They blocked a kick
and a field goal.
Well, the field goal and
a punt. Sorry, yeah.
They blocked a kick and a punt in the first quarter. Billy Edwards came back and got hurt again immediately and gimped off the field. I don't know what's going on with his knee or whatever, but like he doesn't look like he's close to being ready to play.
No.
They tried to play him yesterday and he clearly wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And then Danny O'Neal served up the biggest lollipop interception return I've ever seen to give the Terps, 7 points because they returned it to the Wisconsin 3 or whatever. So it should have been 13-0 at half, but it was 20-0 because of that. And then Wisconsin just kind of never really rallied. They scored a field goal in the third quarter and a touchdown late in the fourth quarter after nothing mattered anymore and the game was far over.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give, first of all, let's give our praise to the Terrapins.
Yeah.
They were really aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
They went for those punts. They went for the field goals. They didn't play safe. They blitzed a lot. They dared Wisconsin to throw the ball. They said, hey, we're not going to let you run the ball. Not going to let you run the ball. And Wisconsin had 61 yards rushing. 61. And Malik Washington, man. Malik Washington's great. He's great. He's a true freshman. And honestly, he's further. I'm not saying he's better, like long term, because I think Bryce Underwood's more gifted. But right now, if you need to win a game right now, I would take Malik Washington over Bryce Underwood.
Yeah, I would too.
And that's no shade on Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
He's a true freshman. I'm just saying Malik Washington looks really comfortable in the pocket for a guy who's so young.
Yeah. The thing to me, again, I wasn't expecting anything stellar from this passing game, even if Billy Edwards Jr. was healthy, it's that it comes down to, again, like we've been talking about, the fact that you had 61 yards total on the ground. That's the biggest alarm I have ever seen coming out of Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And this is what we've been saying.
The whole game, offense, defense, and special teams. They fell apart yesterday. They melted
this is
down.
What we've been saying for a couple of years. And that's why, I stated, and you've, we've talked about this, that a couple of years ago, we're like, do you think Wisconsin is going to Nebraska themselves? And it seems like they have.
Yeah, you called it, man. I didn't think so. I thought Fickle was going to the moon.
I didn't know, obviously, but I was
Yeah.
just wondering because again, like once I started hearing about the dairy raid and let's change the identity of this entire team, essentially, that's when I was like, wait a second, and obviously we were told by many people that, oh no, this is going to work. This is what we need to do. Modern offense, blah, 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 blah. And you
Didn't
brought
work.
up the point that it wasn't just the offense, it was the defense too.
They changed their defense
everything.
too. And the
And
defense was good. The offense was stagnant, but the defense was phenomenal. And they changed it for no reason.
And this is what happens. And this is the same type of thing that happened in Lincoln, Nebraska. And now where do you go from here? And this is the type of stuff that does long-term damage to a program. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that, oh my God, that's it. It's curtains for Wisconsin right now. But like, it sure seems that way. And you can't point to anything right now that would give me any hope or convince me that it's going to be better soon anyway. So
I mean,
it's tough.
Friend of the pod, Scooby, was the biggest Luke Fickell supporter I've ever seen in my life. He thought Luke Fickell walked on water. He thought he had an amazing plan for everything. Yesterday, Scooby was putting up hot boards for new coaches and talking about the inside info he has about who is on the hot boards and who's going to be the next Wisconsin coach. And Luke Fickell has like a $25 or $30 million buyout.
Yeah.
So he's so bad that Wisconsin is potentially going to pay the second biggest buyout in college football history to get rid of him. I mean, it couldn't be any more of a disaster. I mean, like it couldn't be any more of a disaster. You know what it reminds me of, though, that when they were like, we're going to pound the rock this year. Tim Brewster, after his second year in which we ran a spread offense and Adam Weber was second team all conference, said, you know what? We're having some trouble in short yardage. I'm going to fire my offensive coordinator. We're going to pound the rock. But we didn't have any good running backs. And our offensive line was built for pass blocking, not run blocking.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to pound the rock, and it didn't work.
No.
And then he got fired. So he got 2 years, though, back in those days. He got a year. Tim Brewster would have never gotten to a year 4 in this day and age. But he got to a year 4 and got fired mid-year.
Yeah.
But the pound the rock thing never worked because he hadn't recruited to it.
Yep.
And Fickell recruited for 2 years to a wide open spread system and then was like, oh, actually, let's do the power run thing. I guess we know how to do that here. But he hasn't been recruiting to that.
Yep.
And you can see it. They don't have the running backs aren't good enough, and the offensive line isn't good enough. The tight ends aren't even good enough.
Nope.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
At a school like Wisconsin. It was, John, I texted you, I think, and I said, I put this on Twitter, of my conscious lifetime, of what I can remember, it's the worst performance I've ever seen from a Wisconsin team ever.
This makes so much sense because you've been feeling and hearing rumbles, going on in Madison and King Barry not being happy with what's been going on with Fickell. You heard stuff like that a year or two ago. And then you've been hearing things, on Twitter through players, which is toned down this year, but there was definitely some issues last year at the end of the year with like Braylon Allen and whatever.
Yep.
But now you see where it's coming from. And I have never seen Badger fans this terrified. A lot of them are lashing out right now because, they're scared, and that's just,
they're lashing out hard. They're trying to talk about the Cal loss last week instead of their loss yesterday because they're so down bad. Well, I've never seen a fan base so down bad as Wisconsin. It's Nebraska-ish. It is fully Nebraska-ish.
It's very much.
The thing is, they're going to be underdogs in their next 8 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could possibly go 2-10.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
It's a realistic
They're 2-2 right now. They could realistically go 2-10.
Yeah. They're not just lashing out at Gopher fans. They're lashing out at Iowa fans.
Everybody.
They're everybody. And rightfully so. I shouldn't say rightfully so. But I get where it's coming from. It's understandable to a point, obviously.
Like when we went 1-11 in Brewster's first year.
Yeah.
And you could see by the end of non-conference play that we were done. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what you do when you're scared. And rightfully so. You should be. This is really bad. And it's not right now anyways, it doesn't look like it's going to get better. So, so hang on and I guess see what happens. I feel like they're going to fire Fickell and the AD together at some
Probably.
point.
Yeah.
I think that's probably inevitable. And unless, there's some miraculous change, which I just at this point don't see happening. But yeah, man, it's rough in Madison. But I can't say I'm not enjoying it a little bit. So
Yeah. I wonder if they make Barry interim AD.
oh, dude, I think he's going to be interim AD and he's going to coach on the field because Barry.
No,
I don't think Barry can help himself.
He's nearly 80 years old.
You think that's going to stop Barry?
Yes, I do. I do. I think he'll be interim AD, but I think he left coaching long behind when he interim coached those bowl games. And it doesn't look like there's going to be a bowl game to interim coach. So
I'm with you. I just wouldn't. To be honest, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if somehow
Barry's back on the sidelines.
Maybe not even on the side. Maybe he's like up in the booth with a headset
in the booth.
And he's like watching everything, and he's talking to everybody in their ear. Like so, he's kind of like controlling from afar, but he's up there like making sure he's being seen as now I'm running things. You can be on the sideline. And but you're only there for like a control aspect. But
the thing Barry did that no one talked about is that even when Bielema was there, even when Anderson was there, even when Christ was there, Barry controlled recruiting.
Yeah,
and Barry would be the guy who would meet with recruits to seal the deal. It was a unique thing, and he's like, "This is my program. I was the coach. Now I'm the AD. We might change coaches sometimes." But as long as I'm here, we are Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment he retired, the program fell apart and turned to mush without him.
Yep.
It's wild.
The house that Kingsbury built is officially gone. It's gone.
I think you said, what was it you said? Not only is it gone, but
the cleanup crew has come through and not only made it so it's you can't see that it's there, or it's almost like it never even existed. I think
almost like it never even existed.
It's not that bad. I had to rub it in a little bit, but it is bad.
Well, of course we're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're Minnesota fans after all. Wisconsin is our blood rival, number one. So
but everything he built in the last like 30 something years is gone. I mean,
it's gone. They're starting over, from scratch.
Yeah, that's not even me trying to be like a jerk. That's just the reality.
It's a full rebuild.
Yep.
It's Wisconsin might as well be Indiana right now before Cignetti.
Yep.
They are in that position right now with Fickle. It's that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, also Wisconsin had a ton of recruits at that game yesterday.
Yeah.
How many of those guys are going to rethink their options? I wonder. I don't know. Maybe they stick it out. Maybe Fickle's able to talk him into it. But especially if Fickle gets fired at some point, you're going to lose a lot of those recruits. And it's a pretty good recruiting class.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it'll be very interesting to watch.
I'm wondering where they're going to get the money for the buyout, because Wisconsin does not have that kind of, it's not like they have a billionaire they can turn to who's just going to be like, oh yeah, here's your 25, 30 mil. You're good to go. They're going to have to, it's going to be some uncomfortable talks about like belt tightening around at Wisconsin for a little bit. Because if they have to swallow that buyout, what's going to happen? Are they going to cut a sport? You know what I mean? Like what's going to happen?
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's tough to say. Like I said, like it's going to be. I think that's another reason why I think the AD is going to go as well. I think they're going
to fire him. Yeah, because Fickle was his pick. Yeah. The thing that sucks for Wisconsin if they do fire Fickle is that there are going to be several high-profile jobs open this year, and it's possible. Wisconsin had their pick last time, and they picked Fickle.
Yeah,
it's possible they don't have their pick this time.
No.
Yeah. It's possible that the guys they want are already coaching somewhere. Because Scooby showed me that list, and like of those 4 guys, 3 of them you're not going to get. Because they either already have jobs that they're not going to leave, or because they're going to get a different job that's not Wisconsin. So I don't know, man. It's going to be it's tough times in Madison, and the Schadenfreude. After the thing is, they were jerks when we were bad.
They were.
And they obsessed over us at times, even when we weren't worth being obsessed over. And they tried to pretend like the rivalry wasn't a rivalry, and just all the things they that we weren't their real rivals anymore. Yep. So I'm enjoying every moment of this. Same. And I can't wait until the Axe game. I mean, I can because I love every week, but I will be excited to play the Axe game this year.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on to our last game of the day?
Yes, let's do it.
We had the Washington Huskies 59, the Washington State Cougars 24. So at one point in the third quarter, this game was just 31-24 Washington.
Yeah.
But then the Huskies exploded for a 28-point fourth quarter, led by a back-breaking 11-play, 75-yard drive that culminated in a 7-yard TD pass to Denzel Boston. And from there, the route was on. Dude, Damon Williams, 16 of 19, 298 yards, nearly 16 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks for a QBR of 99.3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he also had 88 rushing yards and a touchdown that way. So he had 5 touchdowns.
He was the leading rusher as well. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Jonah Coleman was fine. 5 yards a rush, 12 carries. They didn't want to wear him out, before conference play. So I understand that. They didn't, they didn't put too much on his plate, which I get. I think they're trying to limit, they're trying to make sure Jonah Coleman makes it all year.
Yeah.
So once they realized they could score at will, even without him, they gave him a break and let other guys play a little bit. Yeah, it's, and then of course, Denzel Boston, always great. 6 catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, including one for 29 yards. Jonah Coleman had over 100 yards receiving too.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave him more touches when they were crowding the box to stop the run. They combated it by throwing those short passes. And, I thought I'm a little worried about the defense.
Yeah.
Because they did give up a decent amount of points and it was pretty close. But, I think our friend of the pod, Windy City Farmer, was worried. He was like, Damon Williams can't be the whole team. He needs help. It's like, yes, he does need help.
Yeah.
And he also said, does Ryan Walters know what he's doing? And I said, Ryan Walters, as defensive coordinator, knows what he's doing when he has shutdown corners.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have shutdown corners, does he always know what he's doing?
Mm-hmm.
Does he know what to do? Can he sit back and play zone and make that work? I think it remains to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's got to keep growing as a coordinator because you're not always going to have corners who are better than the receivers. You're just not always going to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like so much of his defenses at Illinois were predicated on we're better than you, so we can do all this aggressive stuff in coverage, which allows me to be more aggressive up front.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something Ryan Walters needs to keep growing, but I think there are a lot of positives to take out of this for Washington. And Damon Williams, man, he's so special.
He really is, man. He's a freak in every possible way. He's a cheat code, man. It's incredible.
Man, can you imagine? I bet you in the video game he's so tough.
I'm sure. I haven't played with him, but I bet
you should. You should play with him just for fun sometime. I'm sure it'd be great.
Well, they do roster updates, and I think they'll probably do one another week or two where they readjust their attributes.
Right.
And I'm sure they're gonna bump up Damon Williams.
Oh, they should bump him way up.
Yeah. So, look, Washington State had a pretty good quarterback in Zevi Eckhouse, but he was their whole offense. They couldn't run the ball at all.
28 yards rushing only.
Yeah. So
I get it. Ryan Walters did what he does, which is crowd the box and dare them to beat you.
Yep.
And they did get beat a fair amount. But they also had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all bad. They were ball hawking out there, which is great. You want to see that for sure. And it's just, especially with, Tacario's out right now. Davis, he's not playing, so I don't believe. So, they need, I'm not sure how bad he's hurt. I got to check on that injury, but it'd be nice to have him back.
One more thing I wanted to mention, though, about this offense that I did see that looked a little problematic. Is the pass protection wasn't always fantastic. Williams did get lit up a few times and more than he should have been. And
no, he's running for his life at times.
So that, to me, that's something to keep an eye on as well, is their pass protection when it comes to some better competition leading up here. That worries me because you don't want your quarterback getting hit like that. And Washington definitely teed him up a couple times.
Yeah, Washington hosts Ohio State on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they got to really they got to shore that up front.
Mm-hmm.
because the Buckeyes will kill you if
Yeah.
you aren't playing well on the offensive line. They're gonna make it a rough 4 quarters.
Yep.
They're gonna make it unpleasant for you.
Yep.
Yeah. So, good for Washington though, man. I think they're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And even if they get killed by Ohio State next week, I still think they're a good team.
Yeah, I do too. I think
the Buckeyes are the number 1 team for a reason.
Yeah.
And they've got some really winnable games on the schedule left, like Maryland, Rutgers, Illinois, Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA. Like, yeah, they have to play Oregon. Yeah, they have to play Michigan. But after Ohio State, they have a good runway to build up some wins and have a really nice season, I think.
Yeah.
I think they could go to a nice bowl game.
I think so too. I think they will, to be honest. Yeah.
So, taking the Billy Napier's 1-3. It's been a long time since we said it. We've been really good. Windy City. You told us not to bring it up. I didn't bring it up for a long time. But Jedd Fisch is a Florida alum. And that's his dream job. I think his dream is to be in the NFL, but I think his dream college job is Florida.
Yeah. But is it a better job
than Washington?
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know. I think they're comparable.
I mean, I think Washington's been more relevant.
Washington's been much more relevant.
Yeah.
Florida has better in-state recruiting, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, you can always talk yourself into that if you're, as being technically the better job. But Washington is probably the safer job.
Yes.
Because at Florida, if you don't win titles, they will fire you pretty quick.
Exactly.
And it's hard to win titles at Florida because it is a great job. It's not Alabama or Georgia.
Yeah.
It's not Ohio State or Michigan. You know what I mean? It's not quite those jobs in terms of like the resources and the advantages that you have. Just because the school never really invested in facilities the way everybody else did because they didn't need to because of the recruiting. And like, I think the AD at that school at Florida at times has been complacent because they say, look at all the recruits. You should just win. And it's like, no, you need everybody to be on the same page and have the buy-in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the thing is, Florida will go for Lane Kiffin first. That's the word that they want. But I do think if Jedd Fisch wins 9-10 games,
I'm sure they'll give him a call. Yeah.
They'll talk to him.
If it ends up being that way. Yeah. I mean, I think they'll talk to him. I wouldn't take it.
I wouldn't either. I would stay in Washington.
Yeah.
Dude, you think Kalen DeBoer wishes he had stayed in Washington right now?
Yes.
Where he could have been a god forever?
Yep.
Yeah, I bet you Kalen DeBoer is thinking wistfully of his days in Seattle right now.
I sure as hell would be.
Yeah. So that was probably a mistake. Never be the guy after the guy.
Nope.
Not when you're talking about championship coaches. You don't want to be the guy after the guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be the guy after Kirby Smart either.
Nope.
Wouldn't want to.
I would even though Clemson hasn't been fantastic for a number of years now, I still wouldn't want to be the guy after Dabo Swinney.
No.
Nope.
No. Dude, is Dabo going to get fired? I mean, they can't fire him, can they, after everything he's done there for one bad year?
I feel like he can't. No, I don't think he's going to get fired this year.
I don't care if they go 2-10. You can't fire Dabo Swinney. He's won 8 ACC titles in a decade and 2 national titles.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get fired. I think there'll be a lot of consternation. People will be really upset, but like, I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think to appease the fan base, I think he's going to go into the portal more.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be like, instead of getting 3 guys out of the portal, maybe we need to get like 8 or 10 guys out of the portal.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's what he does. And then maybe he makes a change at offensive coordinator or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
Or maybe defensive coordinator. Man, it's just all not going well for Clemson. Right on. I'm excited about week 5, John.
Yeah, me too. It'll be good. I'm glad.
This is not the preview pod for that. This is the review pod for week 4. But like, we've got a lot of good games coming up next week.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams coming off a bye. It's gonna be a really epic time. And also, man, like I said, USC fans, time for Jaden Mayava to get serious Heisman cred. It is.
Yeah.
And USC looks good. right now. And what do you think USC is going to do to Illinois next week, man?
I mean, obviously I'm going to pick USC, but is this a rallying cry?
Is it a bounce back?
Is
it
it
a come to Jesus moment for Brett Bielema? Yeah.
I still don't think when you're playing in the Big Ten, for the most part, there's obviously a couple exceptions within the Big Ten at this point that you could say, you can't include in this, but you're never safe.
No.
And I don't think anyone is still safe against Illinois at this point. I know it was a whooping, but like I still don't think anyone should walk into Champaign thinking they got it in the bag. No, so
yeah.
Unless
no
you're
Friday night game this week, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a complaint. Before we get out of here. They did not play the Here Comes Saturday Night song before the Here Comes Saturday Night game.
What?
They didn't play it. They didn't do the intro. They played it like a little bits of it in the background later, but they never did the intro where they have, I'm like, why did you pay Fall Out Boy all that money to record that thing if you're not going to play it before the game every time?
That's bizarre. Yeah.
And I think it's, what happened? I think they screwed up because the Notre Dame game was delayed.
Yeah.
So the Indiana game started on Peacock.
Okay.
And I started on Peacock. But then I went back when I switched to NBC because I wanted to be off of Peacock as soon as the Indiana game was on there.
Yeah.
I went back and checked, and they didn't play it there either.
Huh.
So let's come on, NBC. You paid all that money for the Here Comes Saturday Night song. Play it before the Here Comes Saturday Night game.
Yeah. Wow.
These are the little things I get upset about on a bye week when I have nothing to critique the Gophers.
It's important stuff, guys. Important stuff.
It's important to stay sharp in my critiques.
Yes.
So that when the Gophers...
Uniform color schemes and theme music.
Yes.
This is a big deal. So
hey, this is a television product.
That's right.
This is part of the television product being good. So get it together, Oregon, with your uniforms, and NBC with your programming.
There you go.
Tighten it up, people. Nicole Arbach, I know you're listening to this. You tell NBC to tighten this up. Joshua Perry, we know you're out there. Paying attention to us. You tighten it up.
That's right.
All right, should we get out of here?
Yeah. If you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat. You can find Mike here at Alibaba26. You can find me, John, at Norwegian Gopher, and you can email us, WeLiveForSaturdayB1G@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you are still here 93 minutes into this review podcast, you are my hero. Love you all. Next week, the Gophers actually play, so your boy will be back in Gopher gear for the preview pod and the review pod if we win. So get excited about that. Everybody have an awesome week. Don't work too hard at your jobs, because they don't deserve that much labor from you. We'll see you in the next one.